Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're cutting right through the hype and focusing purely on what actually works out there in the wild. Look, if you've been reading about AI agents for months, getting totally hyped up, and then watching your automations just completely implode in production, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're building a practical, zero BS survival guide for deploying agentic AI. This is all about giving you the exact roadmap to build narrow scope, highly disciplined agents without, causing absolute production disasters. Okay, let's dive into this with a pretty brutal reality check. Single task AI agents, they actually succeed about 54% of the time, but large-scale multi-agent AI transformations, they have an 8% success rate. Yeah, you heard that right, just 8%. The vast majority of companies are pushing massive, complex AI initiatives right now, and over 80% of them will literally never reach meaningful production. The fix here isn't just sitting around waiting for better AI models, it's about fundamentally shifting your architecture from broad and chaotic to narrow and bounded. To really understand why this happens, listen to this real-world horror story straight from the industry. Quote, "We spent 6 months building an agent that worked great in testing. In production, it hallucinated a refund policy that didn't exist and sent it to 400 customers." Ouch. I mean, this is exactly why enthusiastic developers are failing right now. They push untested, overly complex agents into the real world completely without guardrails. An agent that works perfectly in a pristine, beautiful demo environment is going to crash hard, the exact moment it encounters messy, Monday morning data. So here is our tactical manual for today's explainer. 1. Why complex projects fail. 2. The bounded autonomy methodology. 3. Essential tools for beginners. 4. A research agent tutorial. 5. Human control and safeguards. And 6. Log auditing and metrics. Let's get to it. Section 1. Why complex projects fail. Let's avoid that 40% cancellation trap. Probably the most seductive mistake in the game is trying to build one giant super agent that does everything. Something like improve productivity with AI is not a spec, right? It's just a vague vibe. Real success requires extremely narrow, measurable goals. A goal like resolve Tier 1 billing tickets end-to-end with a 90% success rate within 4 hours, now that is a contract. You can measure it, you can run tests against it, and you can actually build a solid architecture around it. And here's another absolute project killer: bad data. 60% of AI projects are abandoned due to data quality issues alone. Look, your agent is literally only as smart as the information it can access. If your database is full of outdated records, missing fields, or just weirdly inconsistent formats, all of that instantly becomes your agent's problem, and by extension, your customer's problem. You absolutely must audit and clean your data before you write a single line of logic. Not during, not after, before. Moving right along to Section 2, the bounded autonomy methodology. So, the crucial point here is this. The teams actually winning right now don't have the most sophisticated systems. They have the most disciplined ones. Bounded autonomy is a framework that restricts what an agent can do based purely on risk. Level 1 is where the agent can gather data or draft content completely autonomously. Level 2 steps up the stakes for things like external replies or database changes. Here, the agent suggests, but a human must approve. And Level 3 is for strategic or crisis decisions where a human always decides. Strict boundaries are everything. All right, Section 3, Essential Tools for Beginners. Let's look at the actual 2026 stack. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these specific tools accelerate your development while still keeping things stable. For no-code or low-code starting points, Bolt New is just incredible. It builds full-stack applications from plain English, complete with the deployment pipelines. On the flip side, if your agent needs a super polished web interface, Lovable builds UI directly from chat and syncs bidirectionally with GitHub. And for deploying heavier back-end control, jumping into something like Replit offers that perfect sweet spot between a quick prototype and enterprise infrastructure. If you're just starting out on this, please do not try to automate your entire business on day one. Pick one highly repetitive, narrow-scope task where you can easily verify if the output is good or bad. Here are 5 perfect, super safe starter tasks: summarizing research, qualifying leads, drafting responses to internal FAQs, creating content briefs, or coordinating schedules. Just pick one. Build it, prove it works, and then maybe think about expanding. Section 4, Tutorial Time. Let's build a functional research agent. Here's a super disciplined make.com workflow in action using pseudocode logic. Step 1, trigger. It fires when a new row is added to Google Sheets. Step 2,
Research. It calls the Perplexity API, which basically acts as its real-time live internet brain. Step 3. It parses that text to extract structured data. Step 4 is the magic step, human review. It sends an email to your Gmail for approval. Only upon step 5, with your explicit say-so, does it actually write to your CMS or your logs. Error handling is baked into every single step here. If anything gets weird, it stops and alerts you.
Section 5. Human Control and Safeguards. The stuff you literally cannot skip. Honestly, if you remember absolutely nothing else from this explainer, memorize this golden rule. An agent without guardrails isn't automation, it's a liability wearing a business suit. Human control is completely non-negotiable for high-stakes actions. I mean it. If your agent is allowed to send emails to customers, modify production databases, or, heaven forbid, issue refunds, it needs a remarkably short leash. To actually protect your systems, you've got to implement these mandatory guardrails. First, keep actions reversible. Always draft before you send. Second, demand human approval for all external outputs until you have at least 90 days of flawless data. Third, version your prompts. When an agent suddenly starts hallucinating, you need full traceability to know if a prompt change caused it. Fourth, implement simple kill switches. A quick toggle in make.com lets you instantly kill a rogue process without scrambling to rewrite code. And fifth, run real-world test cases. Use messy data, not just the clean demo stuff. And finally, Section 6, Log Auditing and Metrics, how we actually measure success. You need a strict weekly audit checklist. You sit down, review your logs, and track these exact metrics. Your task completion rate needs to be over 90%. Your human review rate, like the amount of times you actually have to step in and fix a mess, that should be decreasing week over week. You want an error recovery rate above 70%, an escalation rate below 10%, and a human-rated output quality score above a 4.0 average. Honestly, if you cannot fill in this table for your active agent, you are flying completely blind. I want to leave you with a pretty provocative question to chew on today. Take a hard look at the projects you're working on right now. Is your current agent true automation built on disciplined, bounded boundaries? Or is it just a massive risk wearing a business suit, just waiting for a bit of messy data to trigger a disaster? The companies actually winning with AI aren't the ones showing off the flashiest demos. They're the ones choosing boring, narrow, heavily logged, and human-reviewed workflows. So take this survival guide, run some real tests, embrace the discipline, and go build something that actually survives Monday morning. Thanks for exploring this with me today.